So I know this video doesn't quite fit with the rest of my channel, but I decided I wanted to start making some video editing tutorials, and I figured I should start with a program that I know very well. For those of you that don't know what DaVinci Resolve is it's a very high-powered, a very powerful video editor, very capable, and it can do a lot of cool stuff if you know how to use it. This is the loading screen, well, not the loading screen, the startup screen. So when it starts up, it'll present you with all your projects. It always has a blank, untitled project that you can just go in, and then when you make it, you'll save it and name it. That's the quickest way to do a project. You can also make folders by right-clicking and going to New Folder, or up here to the New Folder icon. And then up here is where it's stored. So if you're working in a company, you might have it on network or cloud, but for personal use, you usually want it to be local. And this is just your zoom, so like how big it is. So if you have a lot of videos, you'll want it out like this, but if you have very few, you want it in like this or something. I don't know. It depends on how well you can see. You can also just have them as a list. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a new, folder called video tutorials. And the difference between video tutorials and DaVinci tutorials. DaVinci tutorials is where I will be editing these clips that I am recording right now. So we're going to go into video tutorials. We'll make a new project. We're going to call it tutorial 1. And then it'll open up this big screen. So first thing to know is there's these nice little panels, and they're each different screens. So media, that's typically the first one you're going to want to use. They've got them in pretty decent order. So you'll put in your media clips. So see, I've got my hard drives up here. If I had a external hard drive or an SD card plugged in, it would also show up here. And then you've got your cut page. So when you have your video, you can go in and splice it wherever. Here's how you can see it. Here's the clips. You drag them onto the timeline. Your edit page, it's for adding transitions and titles and B-roll and extra audio and stuff like that. And then you've got this fun little page that barely works on most computers. It really doesn't like it. This is the Fusion page. It's very resource demanding, and unless you have a very good computer, I highly recommend you don't use it. You won't need it for most of the stuff. You've got your color editing page, so your red, green, blue, your total values. You've got fancy curves, and then you come select where you want it, and there's all these fun little things. And then you've got your music page. So what this does is you can take the audio, and then you can splice it. You can lower the audio level in some parts, so if like there's a really loud bit that you really don't want to like deafen your viewers, you can then go just drop the audio a bit. And then you've got your production page, which is where you can go YouTube, you can go like specific bits in YouTube, you've got Vimeo, Twitter, Dropbox, generic, and all these fun little things. Adobe Premiere. You've got file names, where you want it to be, how you want it to render, all these fun little bits. And it's just, there's a lot. So we're going to go ahead and start with the media pool. Now I already have some clips over here of yesterday's fireworks show. And I'm just going to grab these two clips. Boop. And you always want to change the project frame rate to your camera's frame rate. It'll just work better. Alright, and then what we're going to do is we have to go through and we have to find what we want. Now, I know generally where it is. I've got my 2 clips, so I am actually going to screen through and find it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to mute the audio because it is very loud. So then you can go in and then you grab it. No, you grab it, you drag it down into there, and then it's there. And then you can just hit your space bar and it'll go. You got your fireworks show, it's very loud. You know. And this is like your decibels meter, stuff like that. You typically want it to be in the yellow range, so right about here. And then if you want to scroll through it really fast, 3 important buttons will be K, J, and L. J is for reverse, L is for forward, K is for pause. And then what you can do is if you're on a Mac, this would be Command for you. I'm pretty sure anyway. But on Windows, it's Shift. So if you go Shift L, you play at 2 times speed, and then 4 times speed. Oh, this was when I had it, when I was moving it. And then, of course, sometimes it'll like to bug out when you go really fast. So we're going at 16 times speed, and it's just picking certain frames. But I realized that this is not the clip we want. So I'm going to remove it, and then for neatness reasons, I'm going to remove it from here too. So then you go, and there's no, well, there's a remove selected clip, but you can also just hit delete. But this is the one we want. See, it's got our fireworks, very pretty fireworks, but this is not the scene that I'm looking for. So we're going to scrub through it at 4 times speed because it'll actually still play. So there's the entire fireworks show. It's really pretty. But this is a very long clip. See, that's getting on to about 7 minutes. Well, what we can do, we can go in fast review, or we go to the next edit. So if I had a split somewhere in here, like let's say like right about here, it would skip to here. But since I don't, it'll go all the way to the end. And then I can go reverse review. I can go to the finale, which is what we wanted. So let's see. We'll just want maybe a minute's worth of footage. We'll say right about here. That looks like a decent stopping point. And then I'm going to go Control backslash, and that'll split it. Now on Mac, this will be Command backslash. And now if we go all the way over here and hit this next edit button, it'll take us here. And then we don't need any of this stuff, so we're gonna hit Shift Backspace, which is ripple delete, so it takes our clip that we want and puts it flush with everything else, like if we add another clip. So then we're gonna play through it, scrub through it a little faster, and it's reaching about 1:30 right now. Well, it's because there's some dead space at the end, so I'm gonna go cut off the dead space. So we're gonna scrub through it until the fireworks stop. Right here, maybe a little extra long. There we go. And then we're gonna split it and then drop that, and then boom, we have our fireworks. It's very simple, looks nice, but here's the thing. See all these little cars right here? There's a lot of cars right here. So here's what we're going to do. Since the majority of the fireworks are contained above this line and below this line, and none of them are out here anywhere, is we're going to zoom in ever so slightly until, you know, the finale, and then it's going to zoom back out. So what we're going to do, this fancy little trick, it might be a little much for a bit, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to right before the finale. Right here. I know, right there. Perfect. This is right when they're starting to launch. We're gonna split it, but we're not going to delete anything. We're gonna go into this clip. We're gonna select this clip, and then we're gonna go over here to this fancy button called close-up. What it's gonna do is it's gonna zoom in for a little bit of time, and then so you can see the difference. Okay, that might be a little much. So what we can do is we can go to Inspector, and we can play with the zoom. And we're gonna zoom in to about there, and then we can also position it so we can mess around with this stuff. That needs to be 0. Alright, so we're going to zoom in a bit. We're going to change the Y so that it's nice and contained in like that. So see, boom, 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 and then it zooms back out to that. Alright, so then what we're going to do, exit the inspector. We're going to drag this over here, and we're actually gonna go into this. See, here's the audio, here's the video, here's the second video. We're gonna just take this and go all the way with it, and then we have a nice little thing where we oh, how did we do it? Well, so if we go ahead and we're gonna do a dip to color dissolve and really get it, and then we're gonna fade this out about the same length so that it looks like it actually fades out. And then boom, there's all the fireworks, all this grand finale stuff. It's really pretty. Ooh, wow, so pretty. Very pretty. And then that's all the cutting that we're gonna do. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and we're gonna make this. See, and it ends very nicely with only a little bit of dead space. So it ends, and then it's like gives you a chance to calm down, and then it's done. So then what we're gonna do, we're gonna go in here to titles, all the way to the front, all the way. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit Control A or Command A. We're gonna move this down. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put some text, just some basic text. It's gonna bleed in a little. It's gonna fade. It's gonna fade out. It's gonna fade in. Then we go in here. We go to Inspector. Go to Rich Text. We go 4th of July celebration. And then we go in here. We see what it looks like. Very simple. Just simple stuff. And then, so it fades in, it's got this black screen, and then as the video pops in, except we don't want it to just pop in, we want it to fade in. We never want it to just pop. If it pops in, well, I mean, I guess you could have it just pop, but you only do that in very specific situations, and when it actually works, and this is not one of those that it works. So then it fades out as the video fades in. And then you would also fade in the audio, like that, to where it's not just jarring the viewer. And it appears that I did not get this zoomed in all the way. So we're going to have to go all the way back in here. So it needs to be zoomed in most of the time. I guess we can have it. I guess we could, technically. Here, if we do you and you. There we go. If we do that, and we have a fade in. So then it'll fade the zoom in. So then it'll look kind of like this, 4th of July celebration video. Does that, and then it's like, let's zoom in. Except we want more of a fade to that, so that it'll actually really zoom in. And it looks nice and smooth. And then, you know, we're nice, we're zoomed in. And we're going. A fast review because I've watched this 100 times already. It fades out. Fades out to the finale. There's the finale. It's very nice, very pretty. And then at the very end, we'll fade it out a decent amount. Fade out the audio. We'll throw in some text saying thanks, not tanks, thanks for watching. Then that'll fade out too. It'll fade in. So then it'll do its thing, it'll end. And I'll go thanks for watching. Voila! Is done. That is our nice little video. It's very simple cutting text and transitions. It's nice and simple. And hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.